Here we go. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another video, and today's video is going to be the answers to everybody's questions for the hashtag AskTemplar74 annual mid-year Q&A for 2022. And guys, first of all, I want to say before I answer your questions, I always appreciate when you guys participate. It gives me a chance to interact with you guys, and I really do try my best. The fact that people take their time to even show any interest is mind-boggling to me, because deep down, I'm not that very interesting of a character. But to be fair, you know, that could just be me eating a big piece of humble pie. All that being said, though, everybody, I digress on that. I really do appreciate all of you guys. You guys really are the reason why I keep doing this. And yeah, I look forward to answering your questions this time around. And we've got a few of them. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm not doing any particular order this year. I know usually sometimes I like to mix it up on whether I start at the bottom and work my way up to the top. I'm not going in any particular order. I'm just going by the order I saw these comments. And yeah, so without further ado, let me get to answering your questions. So the first round of questions I got is from Jessica Friedman, and you asked me, do I think Ash will win the tournament? Do I think it's time to have Ash leave the series and get a new protagonist? You suggested Ash and Serena's daughter. We'll get to that in just a second. And then Ash's past companions, will they watch him versus Leon? So that's a loaded question. First of all, do I think Ash will win the tournament? I think there's a very strong chance. I'm not completely convinced either way yet. I think that he's got a pretty darn good shot of defeating Leon, because Ash has just kind of been unstoppable in Journeys. This really has been his final hurrah, and they really have thrown everything in the kitchen sink at this boy, and he's done everything that he has yet to do in this series. So all that being said, I think he's got a really good shot at winning this. However, if he does win this series, I do think that it is time for Ash to move on. And I think that Pokemon Journeys is kind of putting its toes in the water towards that prospect. I know that'd be a hard thing for the franchise to do, but I really do think that if they are going to do it, this is the series they're going to do it in, just because they have done everything with this boy and they're just setting him up so high. I don't see how in the world they could top this or get him to do more after this series. So if he does win this, which I think he's got a good shot of doing, I think it is pretty much the end of Ash's run as the main protagonist. Do I think he'll leave the show altogether? No, I think he'll still show up from time to time. But as far as being a new protagonist, I really, unfortunately, and I hate to say it, I think they're setting up Go for that. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I see it, just by looking at Pokemon Journeys right now. And then the third part of your question is Ash's past companions watching him versus Leon. I think that that is almost a foregone conclusion that that's going to happen at this point, because so far in this World Championship battle, we've seen all these one-off characters, all of these people from Ash's journey watching this tournament. I think that's a foregone conclusion that all of Ash's past companions will watch him versus Leon in some capacity. Will they be there in person? I don't know, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that they will all be watching him either on TV or in person, but we shall see. So anyway, Jessica, those are your questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my abilities, and thank you for posting the questions. I hope you have a good rest of your 2022, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, next up we have Grenade Man 1, and your three questions were favorite manga to read, and my top 5, or if I couldn't figure it out, 3 Pokemon 2019 episodes. And that was pretty much it, actually. So Grenade Man, favorite manga to read. There's a few of them. I I don't read the mangas as often as I watch the animes, to be honest, which is kind of a shame. One of my favorite mangas to read actually was Spy and Family, or Spy Times Family, however you want to pronounce that. But yeah, overall, I like to read some mangas, but overall I prefer the anime adaptations for the most part. I read the SAO mangas, I read the Spy Times Family, and the Yu-Gi-Oh mangas, and that's really about it, but I'd say my favorite is Spy Times Family. And then my top 5 or 3 Pokemon 2019 episodes, I could not muster out 5. I could only get 3. My top one, top of the board, the Serena Return episode is top of the board, not just because of Serena's return, but just because it was fantastically done. The number 2, the silver, would be the Moans reuniting with Lily and Gladion and Lusamine episode, because that episode literally had me crying. And then taking the bronze is the Moltres raid battle. And yeah, overall, those are my top 3 Pokemon 2019 episodes. I could not work out a top 5, to be honest with you. And I think we're going to talk more about that when I get into further questions later on in the video. But yeah, Grenade Man, I hope that answered your questions. Thank you very much, and hope you have a good rest of your 2022, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right, next up we have Arthur Sanchez Rojas, and I apologize if I completely butchered that name. I do apologize if I completely butchered that name. I'm sorry, I got interrupted for a second. But yeah, your 3 questions. Your 3 questions were as follows. Would I ever consider doing a review of SAO Seasons 1 and 2? Which Pokemon movie do I enjoy rewatching? And 3, Kirito and Asuna Death Battle, who'd they fight? So first of all, would I ever consider doing a review of SAO Seasons 1 and 2? I never really considered it, to be honest. Nobody's really showed that much of an interest in it. I guess I could if enough people showed interest. I'd be down for that. I've just never really given it any thought, and that's why I've never done it. Which Pokemon movie do I enjoy rewatching? The Arceus movie, Legends Arceus. I believe that's what it is. The Sinnoh version of the Arceus movie. Yeah, the Arceus time travel movie, that one was just one of my favorites of all time, and I really do enjoy rewatching that one whenever I rewatch a Pokemon movie. That's usually the first one I rewatch. And then Kirito and Asuna Death Battle, who would they fight? That's a loaded question just because if it's going to be Kirito versus Asuna, first of all, Kirito and Asuna are both beasts. They could pretty much handle anybody by themselves. If they're going to go toe-to-toe together, it'd have to be one fucking badass boss. Excuse my language. I try to keep it family-friendly. But to be honest, it'd have to be an ultimate boss. And I really don't see anybody footing that bill right now. Yeah, I think the closest we ever got was in Alicization when Kirito was completely crippled. But overall, I really don't know who would be a big enough boss and a big enough threat that would require both of them to go head-to-head against one enemy. And we all know that they'll both win because they're OP'd as heck. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on a Kirito-Asuna Death Battle. I really could not tell you who they would fight because it would have to be somebody really massive to foot that bill. But anyway, Arthur, those are your questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my abilities. Thank you for posting your questions, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your 2022, and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, next up we have John B. Smooth Chocolate. And your 3 questions are, how's the baby doing? Do I read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga? And 3, am I going to pick up Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? So, the baby's doing good. Ornery as ever. Yeah, ornery as ever. I don't know where the baby gets that from. Most likely it's mother. But anyway, ornery as ever, doing good. Family's doing good. Thank you for asking. Do I read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga? As I alluded to in an earlier question, yes, I do read the Yu-Gi-Oh manga. I do prefer the anime over the manga, but I do read the manga. And really, the manga, the only thing that I prefer is the first season or the first series of Duel Monsters. But to be honest with you, yeah, I'm more of an anime over the manga fan when it comes to Yu-Gi-Oh! And then 3, am I going to pick up Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? I plan on it eventually when finances allow me. That's pretty much the best way I can answer the question. I hope to as soon as my financial situation allows me to. Right now, money's tight, but I do hopefully plan on picking those up. So anyway, Johnny B, aka Smooth Chocolate, those are your questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my abilities. I hope you have an amazing rest of your 2022, and we'll talk to you again soon. All right, next up we have Surge of Scourge. And your 3 questions are strangest things I've seen on a medical call and how or why. 2 is fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! RPG games on the DS. And 3, impressions of Scarlet and Violet. Have I picked a starter or favorite Knee Pokemon yet? So first of all, strangest thing I've seen on a medical call. It wasn't really on a medical call, to be honest. It was when I was doing clinicals at the hospital. We actually had a dude come in. It was New Year's Eve, and I'll remember this for the rest of my life because it was basically like, am I really up for this? Anyway, we were in the hospital ED, and dude comes in, and he had stuck a corkscrew, a wine bottle opener, into his private area. I'll let the guys watching the video imagine this for themselves, how painful that would be. But he managed to twist it, and basically I was in there with the doc when we had to explain to him that he was going to essentially be castrated. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know why. It's still the strangest thing I've ever seen. I was hoping to save that story for when I do a day in the life of Templar 74 medical version, but there's that story. I may have to tell it again. But yeah, the highlight reel of that story, that's the strangest thing I've seen. Fan of Yu-Gi-Oh! RPG games on the DS. I'll be honest, I never picked them up. I never played them. And they're pretty expensive now on eBay if you can find them. So I really can't answer that because honestly, I've never really played them. And then your 3rd question is impressions of Scarlet and Violet. Have I picked a starter or favorite Knee Pokemon yet? So impressions of Scarlet and Violet, so far, they look pretty good. Waiting to see and reserve judgment until I've actually played them. I have not picked a starter yet, and I don't have any favorite Knee Pokemon yet. Again, I'm just going to reserve that for when I'm playing the game and just kind of go from there. But yeah, overall impressions so far, they look promising. Saving judgment until I actually play them. So anyway, Surge or Scourge, those were your 3 questions. I hope I answered them pretty good. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing 2022. Thank you for asking your questions, and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, next up we have Minor Mole. And your 3 questions are place interested in visiting or places interested in visiting, fandoms I can't stand even though I may like the series or the topic of discussion, and 3, since we're close to Journey's End, what do I think about it compared to the others? Okay, so the first one is places I'm interested in visiting. I've got 2 on the top of my list that are absolute priorities. If I ever get the chance to visit them, I'm going in a heartbeat, and that is Alaska and Japan. I really want to go to Alaska, experience the fishing and the big game hunting because, you know, I'm a big outdoor nut, and then I want to go to Japan just because, I mean, heck, it's Japan, and I think it's on every weeb's bucket list to go to Japan. So yeah, those are 2 places I'm very interested in visiting if I ever get the financial stability to do it. 2, fandoms I can't stand, even if I may like the series. First of all, the big one that comes to my mind is the Pokemon anime fandom. I like the series. Sometimes I can't stand the fandom. And the SAO fandom sometimes, to be honest with you. The SAO haters, quote-unquote. Those are the 2 big ones that come to my mind. I love the series. Sometimes I just can't stand the fandoms, and sometimes it's just, why am I even bothering? And then your 3rd question is, since we're close to Journey's End, what do I think about it compared to the others? I think Pokemon Journeys is a complete crapshoot. I think, kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, it did some episodes really well, and then the rest of it, it's just like WTF. It's basically like the most mismatched of a series that they've done. I guess for some people it meshes. For me, not so much. For me, I just kind of relate it to a crapshoot. Some episodes are great, some episodes are eh. And it really, I guess if I rewatched it and binge watched it, the story would all come together. But its story is just all over the place, man. and its story is only lasting a couple of episodes. And I know that was the appeal of it to start with, but overall it's made for a chaotic series in my opinion. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Journeys overall. It's a crapshoot compared to other series. And yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that, Minor Mole. Anyway, those are your questions. I hope I answered them to the best of my abilities, and I hope you have an amazing 2022, and we'll talk to you again soon. And all right, everybody, that was it for the questions submitted for the hashtag AskTemplar74 annual mid-year Q&A for 2022. Again, I apologize for the delay in this video. I've had some family things come up this year that were completely unexpected, had to deal with those first. And yeah, overall, I am glad that I eventually got to do this for you guys because I do enjoy this series quite a bit, and I look forward to doing the end of the year one in December. But until then, everybody, I will talk to you all next time. Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you all soon. Goodbye.